What is up, and welcome back to Beyond the Arc with Brandon Silvers. As always, I am your host, Brandon Silvers. I am super excited today because this is the first time since I started covering sports that I've had the opportunity to cover the Olympics. I love the Olympics, particularly track and field. I want to talk about it, and who better to talk about track and field with than my old coach, a man who has coached champions at every level, including Olympic silver medalist Raven Saunders from the Herbert Johnson Track and Field Academy. Coach Herbert Johnson. Coach, thank you for coming on again. It's been too long.
Man, thank you for having me. Tell Kobe I still have a beef with him, picking the wrong teams during football season, but I'll let that slide for now. Great being here. I'm glad you have me. I'm happy to be on this again.
No,
yes.
I will pass the message on. So today, since you are someone who has forgotten more track and field knowledge than most people ever learn, I'm going to try to stump the coach. I'm going to ask you questions related to Olympic events. I'm going to see if you can or cannot give me an answer. We're going to go event by event.
Okay.
Are you prepared?
I am prepared. And as you know, I'm full of opinions. So
I have learned that in my nearly 2 decades.
But yes.
In my nearly 2 decades of dealing with you, I have learned that you are certainly full of opinions.
Yes.
Some people say you're full of other things as well.
That's what they might say. But normally, I'm correct or close to it.
All right. Good. Well, let's get started. So moving on to something that I think you might know a little bit about. I want to talk women's shot put. Can the U.S. find the podium, and how many pair of underwear did you go through during the U.S. Olympic trials?
Well, full disclosure, since we're here, I was coaching Raven Saunders the last 2-3 months of this year. She came back and we talked about it. It was something I didn't expect to do, and I told her, no, I'm not going through that again. Not that it was anything, but I was finished at doing it at her level. I didn't want to do that. And then as we talk, she keeps sending me videos and, well, Coach, look at this. Coach, look at that. Oh, come on. Well, what do I need? So we ended up collaborating again. And that was nerve-wracking seeing her going through the trials. But Raven had some things that she just needed to clean up. And make sure that there were certain strength things that she needed to do that she might have not been doing at this place in her career. I don't give so much, say, hey, this is what you got to do here and here and here, and this is do this first and do that second and do this third. This is what you need. These are all the exercises you need. This is what you should be working on. Let me look at it and see what it looks like. Now you pick out how you're going to get these exercises done, and then send back the videos when you're finished with what you're going to do, and let's look at that again, and then we'll talk about it, and then we'll move forward for there. And if you look at her at the beginning of the season when she started throwing, because there wasn't a lot of places that she could throw because she started the season so late to throw. And I think she had to get her mind corrected as to if she actually wanted to throw, but I think she was going to put it down. And when she did decide to throw, the first words out of my mouth, God doggone it, you wait until May. If you had another month, I could guarantee you'd make the team. I can't guarantee you make the team in May. And she and I were laughing about it. Well, so what? We ain't gonna make the team unless we go at it. And she got into it. And if you look at her progressions that she got to. Now, there was a secret that Raven and I knew that many people probably knew but don't know, and many don't know. Since 2010, there's only been, usually, America's only had 2 women in the same year throw over 19.605. So you're talking about 19 meters is 62, 3.30 is another foot. So about 64 feet, 6 inches there have been some years between 2010 that America has no women that have ever thrown 19.604. So we knew that Chase Ely had already thrown, and in 2022, 3 women did it, and then nobody in 2023, and now 2024 with Raven, Chase, and Ross. They are the 3 that have again done it, and 3 has been the most. But going into it, we knew that Chase had already done it and Ross had already done it. So our whole thing was, you throw 19.6, then you're going on the team. Okay, unless history just turn itself over and throw everything over. For whatever reason, I don't fight history with trying to figure out all the time. Certain times I try to figure out why, but in this instance, we didn't need to know the why. We just need to know the what we have to do. So we gave her the listing, and then she started working toward that, which meant that she had to work within her practice. She doesn't like to hear about numbers, so I also had to but I ain't going to tell you how far. I'll tell you how far you need to throw. But she didn't always come back and say how far she was throwing. She just come back and say, it was way out there. When an Olympic silver medalist tells you it's way out there, then you figure they know where way out there is. All right, so it's okay. If you say it's way out there, I'm satisfied. If the answer is who does America as a group has a chance at winning a medal, America has a chance from the gold to the finals. There's the other thing, how many women, and I've had varying, even with AI and some other things, varying answers, but there are not a lot of women that have gone to the Olympic shot put trials, Olympic shot put, and have gotten a medal on their first time. That's where Chase Ely is. It's also where Ross is. It happens rarely. It's not that it can't happen. We're not even talking about the goal. We're just talking about a medal. Gong is coming back. She's been there before. Mitten is coming back. If you told me who is the favorite on paper, who's been consistent, who is built for it, who I've seen, I always believed that she was dangerous. Once she started getting into Mitten is dangerous. Mitten is dangerous from Canada. She could win the gold medal if the Hulk was not going to be there. Mitten will not win the gold medal because we will win the gold medal. We will win the gold medal. We will win. 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 We will win.
So for those of you who are just listening to the podcast, Coach has put on his imitation Hulk mask. It is a New York Giants mask. I also believe it was upside down.
It was? Well, the Giants a lot of times are upside down.
Exactly. So it fits.
Mitten will win. Mitten will come in as the favorite to win, but Raven, having the experience, it's Mitten's first Olympic Games. I don't expect her to just falter and not throw, but Raven has more to prove. That was her best throw of the year that she threw, the best second and third best throws in the finals of her career that she threw at the U.S. trials. She gets a chance to recover. She's her best throw is 1996. She threw 1990. You're talking about a 3 to 4 inch difference in the throw that she just threw to what she's thrown as her best. She will PR, get to the finals, and I expect something. Well, if you don't throw over 20 meters, if you don't throw over 20 meters, 20 meters 40, then you're not going to win the Olympics. So that's, you don't throw 20-40, go back home. You might be able to throw 1997. We have it on the sheet as 1987, but because of the pressure, but 1987, a 2024, 2026 as a silver, and a 2080 will probably actually what you might need to win it in a shootout. If the women have a shootout, and there are some women in that event, well, they are not people on the outside. They are not the friendliest. Ely, Gong, Saunders, Mitten, the young German girl. Don't be fooled by, they are highly competitive, and some of them just don't like each other, period. So they get in there and they get into a shootout, which is someone gets going, and then the others are going to do two things. You know, if you're in a shootout right away, they're going to throw a ball. It's going to be a big throw. It's going to be 19, let's say over 19.5, 19.6 is all right. If someone throws further than that, then it's going to be a shootout right away, because if you're not going to shoot out and someone comes over, we're talking about in the finals after they have the last 8 thrown. You can get 12 and then they get 3 more balls. Because it's going to be the qualifying round the day before. Then it's going to be 12 brought to the finals. They're going to throw 3 balls. 4 of that 12 is going to drop off, and then the 8 are going to get 3 more balls. The throws that you did throw when the top 12 throw, those throws are going to be legal throughout the whole competition. So you threw it on your first throw, second throw, whatever you throw in your first 6 throws, if you get them, then you know that you got it. Those are legal throws. But anybody that drops off out of the 12, they're out. So nothing they throw is going to make any difference anyway, because they didn't make the qualifying, because you can also qualify by distance. So you've got them in there fighting it out, and someone throws the 1960 or 20 meters, and the next throw you see from everybody, it either looks like it was a big throw, but it was I don't mean stepping over the toe board. It was a big throw, but it went out a sector or something. Or when they were coming back around into there, they just touched the toe board or the ring with their toes or their heel. And then someone actually throws a big throw that maybe is 4 centimeters behind that. And you see girls, ladies, women just start coming and just throwing. Then you're in a shootout, and we might see somebody go after the Olympic. We wouldn't say the Olympic record, because they ain't going to make that either. But they'll be going after one of the records that have been not thrown in the last 4 years. Because the world record is 74 feet. They're not even going to throw anywhere in that dream. They can't even throw 70 feet. So that's where from 21.336 meters is 70 feet. We're considering that that's a place that people now would consider the holy grail of throwing, because the women's throw is, for some reason, has regressed to a point. I don't even want to hear anybody telling me about drugs. The men throwers have caught up with them. The men's hurdlers, women's pole vault, everybody is caught up. Well, they didn't have women's pole vault in the drug era, but in all those events, people who were in the drug era and the other events, the women's shot put is lagging behind. Learn how to throw the shot put. That's what y'all need to do. Even me yelling at Raven. Okay. Learn how to throw the shot put. So they're not there, but for this Olympics, your front runners are going to be Gong, Mitten, Ely, Schneider from the Netherlands, Saunders from America. Ross, as a youngster, could play an important role in it, but I think the pressure is going to take her out. When she gets to the top 12, she might make the finals. It'll be a miracle. If America have 3 women in the finals, then that's by itself is a great thing. The young German, it'll be her first Olympics. She has thrown far, but not recently. And so the most consistent, and Gong from China, if I didn't say it, is always dangerous. She's on the other side of her career, but she's still throwing, and she's got 1 more ball in her.
So, yes, Gong won the gold in 2021, and Ogunleye, from Germany, she threw 2019 or 66.3 back in March, but hadn't been back over 20 meters since.
No.
Well, that's a hell of a prediction to predict a gold medal. That is really good. I don't even think I have.
there's no need in going to the Olympic Games if you don't plan to win gold, unless you know you're not going to win gold.
That's
Now,
true.
we're in the top 5 of anyone in the competition. I'm not slighting any, but they don't think they can win gold, and good. But we believe we're going to win gold. We know we're going to win gold. We're coming to win gold. That's all we talk about is win gold, and we're going to win gold. I don't know any other way to dang go after it. If you hedging your bet and you're going into a fight with Mike Tyson, you might as well just stay in the seats because you're going to get knocked out. And I really believe that we're going to win it. In the competitions that you have, there's more going in the throws with all of the men, and also because the ring is only 7 feet long, 7 feet radius, but it just takes 7 feet. And you've got to do all the stuff that you see them doing in the ring. If anyone ever see the rotation, that's happening in a 7-foot space in your home. You take 2 steps in your house, it's 2 good steps, you're at 7 feet. All of that spinning and flying around and throwing and jumping and not hitting the toe board that's 4 inches high is happening in a 7-foot space. The stadium is going to be packed. There are other finals going on that same day besides the women's shot put final. There are people there that are knowledgeable about the shot put. It's not like when they're in America and they might not have an understanding of it. They're knowledgeable. They came there from around the world to see the shot put. To give a lesson, I went online and so there are 8.2 billion people in the world today. 1% of 8.2 billion is 82 million people. There are going to be 3 medals given out in the shot put or in all the other events. Those are the top 3 people against everyone. Everyone in the world has an opportunity in their federation to come try. If you wanted today to walk off your sofa and go outside and pay your $16 for whatever your federation card is and go to a track meet and say, I got my card, it's an open event, you can go in there and do any event you want to do, even the pole vault. They ain't gonna tell you not to do it, but when you're dead, they'll tell you, well, you shouldn't have done that. So it's you against everyone in the world. They're going to be the top 3 people left in this entire planet. That's the pressure. With a stadium full of people screaming at you, and with you not coming back for 4 years. There is no next year. You're not going to see, you have been dreaming about this all your life. Most people only go to 1 Olympics. 1, most. Not this, you're going to 1. You got to get it done. You got to get it done now. So this is Raven's 3rd. This is Chase Ely's 1st. And Chase Ely is Raven's senior by, I think, by 2 years. So it's one of those things where she's never been to an Olympic game. She's the world champion. I think she's 2-time world champion. But if she thinks 2-time world champion is the Olympic game, she'll find out what Raven found out, like Michelle Carter found out, like all of them found, and Michelle Carter had been before, that this is not just you beating the other people. So with the experience and Gong's experience, I expect this to be I expect a shootout to the last ball. And we will have the glory.
How are you going to survive that? Because I didn't mention, but Coach first started coaching Raven when she was a freshman in high school.
Yes, at Burke.
This has been quite the journey. Not quite as long as your journey with me, but
no. And Raven, she's had many coaches in between that, many great coaches.
Yeah.
In between that, she went to Coach Smith and won 4 NCAA titles there at SIU, and then came back with 2 at Mississippi. So 2 at SIU, Southern Illinois, and 2 at Mississippi. Then she left, went to Coach DeGarda over at San Diego State, went up to the U.S. camp in Denver, went to Coach Yush, where she won her silver medal with Coach Yush at Alabama. He's an Alabama coach and won the silver medal there. And Raven has a tendency of, she likes to move around. She's Florida, Maryland, where are you at? I'm in Texas. What are you doing down there? I'm working out. Who's over there? Michelle Carter. You at Michelle Carter's house? Yes. Put Michelle Carter on the phone. Hello, Coach. Uh-oh. So she goes to all of these places, and at the end of this, going into the last where she decided it was time to throw, I don't think she was able to connect with coaches that have already got athletes. They've got things that they're already doing. They're into their things. So she came back home and no, I'm not going to do it. And then we finally, yeah, well, let's try it. We start together. Let's see what we can do. So getting through the trials, probably the greatest track and field day as far as an accomplishment that says, I can coach with y'all, okay, but not the greatest track and field times that I have had. I've had better times, more exciting times, and more elating times with athletes that people have never heard of just making a state championship. And I've been under more pressure than I was with Raven the other day. So just wanting them to get to the state championship, and you don't have a one more disc to throw. And you've been with me for 3 years, and you are not good. But you stayed for 3 years. You did everything I asked you. The disc is not going out there. And they throw the last disc and made the state championship. And the guys got the nerve to be saying the things in order, in reverse order. And then finally, instead of normally they go from last to first, he's going from first down. And when he finally got to the eighth spot, she qualified. Alondria Reed. She was a better person than she ever was at throwing the shot put or the discus. But it's one thing, if I could bottle her tenacity into wanting to be something in what she wanted, we'd all be better. Because that's what Raven has, the Skylar Gadsdens, the Charlotte Platts, Zach, the some of the athletes that you get through, people that the Jarvis president that you met, if she'd ever gotten to a track, who knows what would have happened to Ginaldo Scott and some of those others, Quentin Wright, that just over time they had things in your look and saying, if they get another 4 or 5 years, this is going to be something. But life takes you off your journey and you have to eat. So that makes a 9 to 5 has derailed many a career.
And I can't help but notice that I wasn't named in all those great athletes. And I'm curious.
Now, I'll tell you, and I tell you all the time, since we were at a track and field, but I tell you all the time, if you were just 3 years later, you would have been Steph Curry. You would have been coming into the league where 3-point shooting was something that is now people want. And you were just stupid enough to be going in the lane with people throwing up crazy things. And I'm like, that boy, that's not going in. People don't even, when Brandon was with me, Brandon came to me to get him in condition because he was going to go to the NBL camps, NBA.
The D-League, it was a D-League back then.
Yeah, that's what it was, a D-League. And he came, so Brandon, I would have him running, and he was like, "Oh man, if you're familiar with Charleston, you know Hampton Park." And he's like, "Oh man," I said, "Okay, well you go run to Hampton Park, and then you run back, and then we start practice." He's, "When are we going in the gym?" I mean, this is summertime at this point, and it's blazing Charleston. We're not going to a gym. So we had all of these drills, 25 to 30 different drills that you had to do outside in the heat and the heat index, strengthening, throwing, passing, leaping, jumping, running, dribbling, one hand, defense with the balls, defense without the balls, defense with one hand. And then when Brandon finally got to the point where he could run Hampton Park, then I told him, well, take a basketball and dribble the basketball while you're running. And then when he could do that, then I gave him 2 basketballs, and he had to run around Hampton Park with 2 basketballs. Well, and we're talking about not in the street. So you can imagine the balls bouncing off his foot, going all over here. It'll be about maybe 40, 30 minutes before he gets back because he just rounding up balls. So in a normal track practice where we might, let's say, do 200s or 800-meter run, he had to do his 800-meter runs dribbling the basketball. You play basketball with a basketball, so why are you not going to be dribbling the basketball while you're running? Don't make sense to me to just run and then get a basketball. So every drill he did, every running that he ran, everything that he did He either had one basketball, two basketballs, either the left hand alone or the right hand alone, together, and that's how he was trained. So his stamina was incredible. Now I won't say now that when he runs the Cooper River Bridge run that Aaron is
It doesn't look the
massacring it.
same.
But no. But that's been many, many years. We had a great time out there. That was beautiful. You wanted the best. I had to shave some ego off. Didn't want you to lose all of the ego, but shave the bad part off. But a great athlete has to have an ego, or they won't be a great athlete.
Yeah, I think it was just competitiveness. If you show up to Herbert Johnson Track and Field Academy, you have got to be willing to compete. And so when you tell me, oh, Raven's going to win the gold, I know Raven knows she's going to win the gold because that is I've seen the practices where coach is on the side trash talking Raven as she's throwing, and just sharpening that competitiveness, that competitive edge, to where there was never a tryout or anything I walked into, and just like there hasn't been a meet that Ravens walked into or any of your athletes that was any harder, came close to being as difficult as the practices. The practices were you should be in jail. I tell you this.
If they knew what I used to do to Raven and you all, I would be in jail. I couldn't do it today. There's no way we could have done the things then that we could do today, because I had Raven would do it. Raven's mother, Clarissa, would allow it. Daryl would allow it. The father would allow it. And they didn't get in the way. Hey, we're going to be out here another 35 minutes. Coach, don't worry about it. Whenever you bring her back, that's good. Well, she's going to come in there today now. She's going to be, coach, don't worry about it. And that's how they took it. They didn't get in the way. It wasn't apparent, well, what is this and what is that? Just let me coach. And I'm going to get you. She wanted to go out of town to go to school. So we're going to go out of town to go to school. That's the first thing. But as we started to progress, you started realizing, that's the number 4 all-time throw in the history of American high school. And then she breaks the American record. And then the throw that she threw on that same weekend that the NCAA had their championships would have been 6th in the NCAA. And then your phone has already been off the hook since November. And so then you hey, you're something special here. And which then I really smashed the hammer down, because you never know what kind of coach you're going to get. See, a lot of coaches, in the way I see it, they coach kids to the best, but they don't coach them for the worst. So if you get a coach that's, he's bubbly and everything and patting you on the back and everything is going good and it's gravy and he's nice and he pamper you and you get that, all well and good. But more than likely, that's not going to be what you're going to get. You're going to get a cross-reference of people chewing your butt out all the time. And you're only a freshman. Get over there and shut up. Don't say anything. Be quiet and listen. Now, if you don't come from that and you just, oh man, that's tough, I can't take it. The coach isn't telling you how wonderful you are. No matter what you do, they want more and give me more and more and more. Then you're not going to make it. So most of our athletes, I would say all of them know because the world class and the newcomers all are coached together.
Yeah.
We don't separate it. Okay. Now we do have a way of making sure you're not in the way of the others, but most of the time the better athletes are helping the athletes too. And if I chew Brandon out, I don't have to chew out the newcomers, because he's been there. And Gog, I better jump in line too. And making sure that they understand we competed for leaving practice. You got to throw so-and-so. You either going to throw this distance and leave practice, or you're going to throw plenty more balls, and you can sit there and cry. And don't think we haven't had male, female, boy, girl cry out there. And go tell it, they've been crying today, but hey, it's part of the process. So when they go to other conferences, and we try to help them pick the actual conference they belong in, not just send them to a conference that you're going to sit on the bench and never leave the school, unless that's what they want. Coach, I'd rather go to this school and sit on the bench because it's my dream. You know, you're never traveling with the traveling team because you're not that good. That's all right, then we'll try to get you in there. And a lot of times we're successful at that. Coach, I want to be a champion and I want to have a chance to travel. Then we send you to a school that by the time you're a junior, you've worked your way up into status, but you're going to have to work your way up into status. We try to find those. And so they normally make it. And we can tell by the ones that are still talk to this day that haven't thrown a ball or ran a race or jumped a hurdle decades ago. I mean, some of them from 1976, 1980 that still call up, Coach, what's going on? You know, and this is what I did, and have taught their children or coaching other kids. So it's been important, and it's important that the kids know that it's tough out there. You know, it's tough out there. And if you can't stand up to the toughness, then life is not for you.
That is true. That is why I am here doing what I'm doing today, because I came through that program and I needed it. So I know who I'm going to be pulling for come the Paris Olympics.
Yeah.
What have we not covered that you need to touch on? Anything?
Well, the men Olympics, Ryan Krauser, the world record holder, has tweaked his arm. He's going to win. I don't know how much tweaking that's going to make any difference. The young guy from Italy, Fabio, I think has come on in the last few weeks, and Joe Kovacs is always dangerous. But I expect Krauser to throw an Olympic record and to win the event. If he doesn't do it, Kovacs is going to do it. It'll be an upset, even though the track people, they would probably not call it a major upset. But it would be an upset. We expect Krauser to take that and then go out on his horse. He might make another Olympics, but he will never be to the form that he is now later on. And that's how I see that. Some of the other events that I like to look at, the steeplechase for men. I just pick people out sometimes. I don't have any idea if they're any good at anything. The race is getting ready. They're standing up there in the court. And I say, I like that fella right there, or that lady right there, and that's my person. And I start yelling at them immediately, why are you in the pack? Get off of the rail. Never seen them run before, but then I will follow them through the Olympics and see where they go. And then I'll pick somebody else if they don't make it. Upset before we got there, we'll talk about just one thing. A thing mode running very bad race and getting knocked out at 800. Cause that on yourself. Should not have been in that pack. It's too fast and strong an athlete. Either lead the pack or get to the back, to the side and trail them. There isn't that many women can keep you off of the team that you can't be in the top three. They said she was hurt previously and she wasn't in a great condition. She had started, and that's probably one of the reasons she was trying to hedge her bets to make sure that she was in a good position, and got messed up. To Saga not make it in the discus. Some people might think that that's she had 3 fouls all outside the sector to the left side and the discus for the women. But Saga was an upset in the World Championships when she beat Valerie Allman. The pressure of trying to duplicate going to the Olympics got her. But if people remember from her World Championship, it took her last throw in order to get to the finals at the U.S. trials. It took her last throw at the U.S. trials to make the team. So that's been her MO this time at Carter, and she wasn't able to make the team. Had she gotten on the team, she wasn't going to medal again. I think her best days were behind her. Valerie Adams, the overwhelming favorite in the discus. I don't see anybody close to her. At this moment, she would have to just melt down. I don't see how she's going to not win the discus. And I think out of that, that's about it. Just every sport that you go, every sport that's going to be on there. And I'm sorry that they're going by meters now for the Americans, but to give you a little quick, thing for just go get yourself a conversion table from meters to feet that's already on a sheet of paper, and put that out so you can see where they are. And they'll normally be within, if they're high jumping, it'll be 1 meter to 2 meters you'll be looking at. Long jump, maybe 5 meters to 7 meters. Triple jump, 14, maybe 15 meters. Throws, 20 to 22 meters, because anybody throwing under that, you probably don't need, let's say 19 for the women to 20 meters, man 20 to 22 meters. And that's how you would be able to follow the event and get an understanding of it, of what's going on. That'll give you more fun at looking at it. Normally, NBC is good at telling you the foot while they're telling you the meters. Some of the sites now have gone, South Carolina runners.com site, they're all meters now. So if you don't convert yourself, you can't do it. I think one of the other sites, athletic.net, converts. You can choose whether you want meters or you want feet. I'm hoping that South Carolina runners eventually do that you can do it. But if you do it long enough, you kind of pick it up. I have a little trick, everything, 3 times everything, 3 feet in a yard. Heck, it's 39 inches in a meter. I just 3 feet in a yard, 3 feet in a meter. And so there's 30, I just 30 times 3 is 30, and I just add 3 to everything. Everything I add 3 to. 3 more feet to everything. Okay. The other thing is 10 meters is 10 meters, that's 11 yards. 22 meters is 22 yards. 30 meters is 33 yards. 40 meters is 44 yards. 50 meters is 55 yards. So 50 meters is 165 feet or thereabouts. That's close enough. You just want the relativity of where it is, so in your mind, you can kind of see what they're doing. When it kind of takes away from the event for the Americans when it's just meters. Because if I told you someone took a javelin and threw it from the end zone of the football field to the goal line of the other football field, you would say, what? Holy mackerel. But if I tell you that they threw 60 meters or 70 meters, or 80 meters or 90 meters, it doesn't mean anything to you. We don't have a correlation yet of that. So unless they're going to turn us all from the imperial to the metric, we might as well do what we've been doing for the longest. Tell the rest of the world to follow us. And if they don't like it, we don't care.
Perfect. Well, Coach, if someone wants to keep up with what you're doing, maybe they got a child that wants to be coached or they want to be coached themselves, where can they find you?
You can get me at Herbert Johnson Track and Field Academy on Facebook, and just leave a message or you can IM me. I just found out what that meant, the IM thing. You can instant message me. It'd probably be the fastest way, Herbert Johnson Track and Field Academy. You can go on the Facebook page. I would tell you to use the email address, but I only look at that probably about once every 2 months. We don't do a lot of training. No. We don't do a lot of training anymore for like a daily thing like you and I would do every day. So, and we don't take a lot of athletes. I'm thinking how I want to progress in this. Do I want to go back to the younger athletes and then move them on? Because by the time a lot of them get to high school, they've picked up such bad training habits but you also don't want the younger athletes to be treated like they are running the Olympic Games, where they have so many practices and the practice is so long that you're going to burn them out. You start them so young that by the time they get to high school, they're never going to want to run track and field again. You killed them. There is no real advantage outside of the technique understanding to try to get them physically fit until they hit puberty, which comes younger, I think a little bit younger now than when I was boy and girls. But until they hit puberty, we don't know what they're going to be. Fat kids become skinny kids, slow kids become fast kids. You just don't know until they hit puberty. So trying to turn them into an Olympic athlete before puberty, I would say teach them every technique make it fun after an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But for the younger ones that under middle school, an hour, send them home. 2 days a week. The middle schoolers, maybe 3 days a week if you're going to have a sustained program, nothing more than 6 weeks at a time, and then break for 2 weeks and then let them come back out. And if they are in the field screaming and hollering, Mackenzie and Samantha, and trying to throw shot putts on you, then, you just have to watch yourself because take a break every 20 minutes and don't make it at that age. So many parents, and it's the parents, I'm going to tell you parents, it's you, because the kids go out there and run. And if I had them out there by themselves and just told them to run, and you didn't tell them before, if Johnny beats you again, you're not going to Taco Bell, they would just be out there running and they wouldn't care. If I told each one of them and they just lost, you won, he lost. It was all of you did great. And they didn't have to hear you talk about how they lost to the guy down the street. They would have a great time. Let them be children for a little bit before they become the greatest athletes in the world. Take it from a person who's been lucky enough to coach athletes since 1976 on every level and have seen what it takes to coach athletes on high level and smaller. Let them be children for as long as possible because they're going to be adults all of the rest. And we don't take nobody prisoner as adults. We kill all.
Well, that's kind of terrifying, but I'm going to put your information in the show notes anyways.
That's terrifying. They're going to hit you an adult.
And
These
then,
people ain't taking no prisoners.
well, as always, it was fantastic having you on. I'm going to try to bother you to get you back on during the Olympics when you're not busy coaching. Thank
you, Brandon. This has been fantastic. I'm happy to be here, man. We got to go over and eat some more.
Yes,
but it's been fun. Tell Aaron I said, hey, tell mom hi and all, and tell everybody, still love them. And you keep doing what you're doing. I already told you. I'm waiting to turn on ESPN.
Definitely. So this has been, before we get to ESPN and the 2028 Olympics, this has been another episode of Beyond the Arc with Brandon Silvers. As always, I am your host, Brandon Silvers. Thank you for watching, listening, rating, subscribing, reviewing, and sharing. And I will catch y'all later.